Hey, what's up? This is Haviah Mighty, and this is the making of Protest. Yeah, so this was like February of 2020. This was right before the pandemic, actually. I linked up with one of my producers, Young Dreadz. He's out in Montreal. This was right before the pandemic. This was right around when I did like Sway in the Morning and all that. So I was super inspired at this time. But I linked up with Young Dreadz in a studio he rented, and we went through some beats that he had. We went through some ideas, and this beat was definitely a beat that I was resonating with. And I even I was like, can you like reproduce some of the chords? We like worked on the chord progression, and we built it out. We fleshed it out a little bit, but I had like 5, 6 beats from Young Dreadz to work on. So I didn't know which one was gonna be the hit, but this was like an unexpected like uppercut, you know, when I finally got a chance to rock with it and cut a demo to it.
So tell us about the process of the beat, like before it became the song.
Yeah, actually, that's funny because the protest ID is basically just like the outro that we created together in the studio back in like January or February 2020. And it was like a completely different beat actually. And we were vibing to that one. And you were telling me like, yeah, I feel that vibe, I like it. But maybe we can do like a little switch up at the end. And I remember we were talking about like UK drill that was starting to trend, and yeah, we just experimented like a little outro, like something new, but that was connected to the original beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is that month later, you just like sent me a demo. And basically the demo, you just used like the outro. So that's funny because like you just took like that little part at the end that we just created, and you just like recorded the song on top of that. So I was like, that's super nice. That's like the kind of surprise that we have when we make music. We never know which part of the song will maybe create another song.
I got that over the shoulder look pack now. Whole squad pulled up so they run down. So they ran down. Like doors on the door, they ran down. His eyes on my heart just sank down. Right ass nigga was stand down. Learn my voice, so I flagged down. Never be one make him some dash. Wipe on the right, so me go left. Cause if them not see me, then it's no stress. Weight is on my back, I'm getting no rest. Better see the man at the protest. They say I'm a waste, but I'm focused. Visiting the way is the coldest year. When you see us play like you don't notice, I just pray the boy them never roll up here.
What was your reaction when you heard, I guess, the concept that I came up with?
That was sick actually. I wasn't ready for like that's like drill banger actually, because that's what I felt. You know, when I heard the track, I was like, wow, okay. Like she really went 100% on a like UK drill banger, and I liked it. I was like digging it a lot.
I got the beat February 2020, so a couple of months had passed and a lot of things had happened, like the George Floyd situation, the Ahmaud Arbery situation. I was really inspired by the George Floyd situation, but also the constant discussions and conversations I was having off of the strength of the camera footage that everyone saw. So writing Protest for me was a way to reignite that discussion, to remind people that these discussions have needed to happen way before this year, and they need to continue to happen in order for the change that we hope to see to happen. As a Black woman in Canada, a female, a rapper in a male-dominated field, I'm very familiar with being kind of the underdog and fighting, you know, from a marginalized position. And so Protest for me, the idea of protesting and the concept behind it is not something that I take lightly. And so this song came out of basically my feelings towards that, talking about police brutality, fear of the police. One of the biggest conversations of the summer of 2020 was the aggressiveness of the police against the civilian, the people that they are supposed to be serving and protecting. Yeah, this song, like it's like that This song is that UK drill vibe. I've never really touched that vibe before, but Young Dreadz, he came through with that. He came through with the UK drill vibe, and you know, I definitely felt that I executed on the beat. I like what I did, but I felt, you know, we should try to reach out to an artist that could really bring that authenticity. And Yizzy, he was down with the record when I sent it to him. You know, he's from the UK. To me, he smashed the record. What he did was he took the idea and concept of protesting against police brutality as a light-skinned black male individual from the UK. So we're getting a completely different perspective now, and he's speaking to the exact same theme. And it's very interesting that our experiences are so different, yet there's so many parallels as being a person of color. I think that's the most empowering thing about having me and him on the same record talking about these themes, is that the perspectives are so different, but the narrative is the same.
When I sent you the record, or manager, whoever sent it, and you first heard it, like, what was your thought process and why did you want to be involved?
The tune was dope. Like, it was sick. I get sent stuff and I listen to it, beats, vocals, whatever it is, and I always like, I know straight away whether a tune is me or not. And when I heard the beat, I was just like, oh. And then I think in the description or on the email or something, it said drill. And I was like, okay, I really want to see how this sounds, because I'm kind of used to hearing a certain kind of UK drill sound, which gets a little bit boring after a while. So I'm always down to hear some dope stuff. And then when I heard how you attacked the vocal with the, I got the over the, I was so like, whoa. I always think as a rapper, as a musician, you imagine like how someone would start. I never would have thought of that at all. And then by the time it got to the end, when the beat shifted down and it was just a melody and you started singing, I was like, wow, this is like, it has everything you want from a song. I almost thought to myself, like, what could I bring? Because the song just sounded so dope. And then I was like, yeah. And then I sat with it. And I was just, at the time I was working on a new sound as well. And I was trying to just find like, what's the best way I could tell my story on this? Because I thought that's essentially what like I'd be bringing to it, like my perspective. And then it kind of just wrote itself. I sat down, kind of just came to a realization of the message behind the track, and just thought, all right, she said her piece, I want to say my piece now as well. How can I best tell that? And then it just, a little styly on there, and yeah.
What was your biggest inspiration, I guess, for the verse? I guess just because for me, I maybe I set the tone, but like kind of the tension between the Black community and law enforcement was kind of the main focus, the tension between those communities, like the feelings of fear and paranoia that leave us with. Would you say that was your approach to the verse too, or?
100%, because there's even things that were happening around the time, like a month or two before that even happened. Like, I got pulled over. We was coming back from like a massive video shoot, big people there, big song, rare tear, and it was just like DWB again. Like, it was weird, and I just thought to myself, it doesn't really matter. Even one of my new songs, I say it's a couple of us known to CID, the officer don't know we're VIP. It's like, we could be anyone to them. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, you just get treated a certain way with prejudice. And I feel like I weren't just telling my story, I was telling the story of me and my people. Like, this is the daily. And I thought the best way to talk about that was literally just to use my life experience. So like, it is sad. We got people in prison over dumb stuff. We got people getting stopped and searched every day for no reason other than just looking a certain way, acting a certain way, dressing a certain way. And like, even most recently, there was a hate crime the other day, and police are trying to say that it wasn't racially motivated. And it just follows the same characteristics of previous racially motivated crime. It is quite a mockery in this country. But I feel like my job and my responsibility as a musician, and I don't know if you feel this way too, I feel like you do, is I'm gonna express it in my way through my music to get my message across, because there are people out there that will take the time to sit and listen to what I have to say. And if that can help them in their everyday life, even just one little bit more to kind of tackle this and work towards something, then you've done your job.
When people listen to protest, what I want them to take away from it, I want people to listen to protest and understand that they might not understand the everyday experiences of people that don't look like them. I want people to understand that they might be entitled in their comfort as they navigate through life relative to other people's experiences where they're functioning in fear, paranoia, And not based on their actions or anything that they've done, but simply how society perceives them. When people listen to protests, I want them to understand this is why we do this. This is why we're in the middle of the street with our fists up, with signs. This is why people of color, marginalized communities, and even people that look just like you are in these streets, marching for a change, shouting for a change, fighting, hoping, wishing for a change. I'm hoping that protests can kind of paint that picture and help people better understand experiences that might not be their own, but that plague the communities, friends, family, co-workers around them. We had a momentous year. We had a lot of protests. We had people fighting for what's right. And I think we've seen a little bit of I wouldn't say a resurgence, but we've seen a growth in understanding, or at least a slight growth in a willingness to understand and a willingness to have these discussions. And when these restrictions are lifted and the pandemic is no longer, a pandemic, these conversations need to continue to happen. These discussions at the dinner table that might be uncomfortable, they need to continue to happen. And that's why we protest.